Every second, tiny cracks open in your blood vessels, and every second, platelets rush in to seal them. Now they're gone. A gentle bump becomes a spreading stain. Your own heartbeat begins to leak blood into hidden places. You survive the week, but the repair crew never returns. 7 days without platelets. This is Protocol Platelets Zero. Day 1. You wake with a faint taste of iron at the back of your throat. A small, dark crust has dried at the corner of your lips. You think nothing of it. At breakfast, a thin, coppery thread appears in your saliva, then another. You press your tongue against your gums and feel them swollen, soft, wrong. The first real warning comes when you nick yourself shaving. The cut is tiny, barely a scratch, but an hour later, the washcloth is soaked. You press it, wait, check again. Still leaking. It takes 4 hours before the wound finally closes on its own. By afternoon, a constellation of small purple dots has appeared on your shins and forearms. Petechiae, tiny capillaries bursting under the pressure of their own flow. You didn't bump into anything. They simply arrived. When you towel off after a shower, new spots bloom across your shoulders, as if the fabric alone was enough to break the skin beneath. A dull, heavy ache settles into your knees and elbows. Not from movement. You've been sitting all day. It's the slow pooling of blood where it shouldn't be, stretching the soft tissue from within. The joints feel warm, full, as if something is pressing outward. You check your eyes in the mirror. The whites are still clear, but a single tiny red dot hovers at the corner of the left eye, like a stray fleck of rust. No pain, no warning, just evidence. By evening, a small blood blister forms under the edge of your thumbnail. You didn't catch it on anything. It simply rose from nowhere. You press it, nothing. It stays, a quiet, perfect bubble of trapped bleeding. You feel fine, you feel normal, but your body has begun to leak, and you don't know it yet. Day 1, the silent leak. Your blood has lost its repair crews, and the damage is only just beginning. Day 2. The dots have spread across your arms, ribs, and legs, tiny vessels failing under ordinary pressure. You stop counting after 40. Your gums are worse. A toothbrush pulls copper into your mouth. You rinse, and the water turns brown. A bite of an apple leaves a dark crescent behind. You press your lips together and feel the wetness pooling along the gum line, though the pain is only a dull, heavy ache. By mid-morning, your urine deepens to rust, then darker. The kidneys are struggling. Small vessels are leaking into tubules and ducts, and the body is failing to keep its fluids where they belong. Your knees and elbows have swollen, warm from within. Bending or lifting now takes conscious effort. The spaces that once slid smoothly are slicked with fluid that should not be there. Yesterday's cut still weeps. The fluid is thin and won't form a scab. The bandage darkens within an hour. Your skin is paler, your lips colorless. Your limbs feel full of wet sand. A faint fluttering stirs in your chest, the heart working faster against a falling blood count. A short flight of stairs leaves you briefly breathless. The mirror shows a face from after a long illness. You are not dying yet, but the damage has moved beyond the surface, and your body is losing the quiet war of containment. Day 2. The Deepening Bruise. Your blood is moving, but it's no longer staying where it should, and your body is starting to pay for every leak. Day 3. The first deep bleed comes without warning. You sit down to use the toilet, and the water below turns black, like tar. Melena, digested blood from higher in your gut. Somewhere inside your digestive tract, a vessel has torn under the simple pressure of living, and your body cannot seal it. Your joints have become useless. The left knee has swollen to twice its size, the skin stretched shiny and tight. Inside, blood is pooling and clotting, stiffening the joint into a locked, painful hinge. You cannot bend it. You lie with the leg propped still, afraid to move it at all. The bruises have stopped being individual marks. They have merged into one continuous stain across your thighs and lower back. A deep, spreading discoloration that looks less like a wound and more like the skin itself is rotting. Your heartbeat flutters against a blood count that continues to fall. A cold, creeping weakness spreads through your limbs. You are no longer a person with a bleeding disorder. You are a fragile vessel, leaking from places you cannot see, held together only by a thin, weakening membrane. Day 3. The fragile vessel. The body is not just failing, it is becoming a prison of pain and stillness, where the simplest movement risks opening a new, invisible wound. Day 4. The bleeding is no longer hidden. It moves into the deep muscles of your back, the iliopsoas, filling the space with a slow, relentless flood. The muscle swells, pressing hard against the femoral nerve. Your right leg weakens, then goes strangely numb, a dead weight that no longer answers. Your pulse thins and quickens, a fast, weak flutter that you can feel in your throat when you lie still. Blood pressure falls, and the room sways with each small movement. The edges of your vision darken, as if the lights are dimming from inside. A blood transfusion buys you hours, but it cannot stop the leak. The donor blood enters, and your own vessels fail to contain it. You are alive because machines and plastic bags are doing what your platelets should be doing, and even they are falling behind. Every joint, every muscle, every soft space is now a possible reservoir. The pain is not sharp, it is a dull, crushing pressure. The weight of your own blood pooling in places it was never meant to be. Day 4. The silent flood. You are no longer just bleeding. You are drowning in your own circulation. Day 5. The bleeding has found your lungs. A vessel in the lining of your chest tears, and a dark, heavy fluid begins to fill the space around your right lung. A sharp pressure builds in your side, as if something is slowly crushing the air out of you. Each breath turns shallow, a wet rustle in your throat. Your lips fade to gray. You lean forward, straining for air that won't come. Your heart races, a thin, rapid flutter that does little to push oxygen into your starving brain. The edges of your vision blur. You are still conscious, but only as a floating awareness above a body that is sinking. A tube slides between your ribs. Dark fluid drains into a canister. For a few hours, you can breathe again. Then the canister fills. Again. The leak refuses to stop. The machines and transfusions keep you alive, but they cannot replace what your blood has lost. Day 5. The fading pulse. Your body's own tide is rising inside you, and there is no shore. Day 6. The headache arrives like a sudden, blinding pressure behind your left eye. Your right hand stops obeying. Words scatter like dropped glass. Inside your skull, a vessel has torn, and dark fluid is spreading across the surface of your brain. The pressure mounts until you vomit. Your right side goes slack. Your pupils no longer match. The world shrinks to a narrow, gray tunnel. A surgeon opens the skull and lifts the clot away, but the tissue underneath is already bruised and swollen. You wake in an intensive care unit, half your body still, your thoughts wrapped in wet wool. The bleeding has stopped, but the damage is already done. Day 6. The cranial flood. The bleeding has reached the command center, and even survival will not bring back what was lost. Day 7. The machines beep softly in the dark. You are alive because a bag of donor platelets hangs above your head, feeding a line into your arm. That bag is the only thing keeping your blood where it belongs. The bruising has spread like a dark continent across your back. Your joints feel packed with gravel. Every swallow leaves a faint metallic taste. The inside of your mouth is raw, and the nurses change the gauze every few hours. You will leave eventually, but with a list of rules. No contact sports, no sharp objects, no long flights. You will carry a card that says severe bleeding risk. You will learn to feel your blood pressure drop before you faint. You will learn to live inside a body that can no longer protect itself. The platelets never return. The cells that made them are silent. What remains is a borrowed, fragile existence, held together by medical tape and other people's blood. Day 7. Platelets Zero. You survived, but the person who woke up on day 1 is gone. In their place is someone who must now live one careful, guarded movement at a time.